Good evening. Thank you for attending this special Park Board meeting on Monday, April 15th, 2024 in City Council Chambers. Would like to take our roll. Mrs. Lewis, if you would go with a roll call, please.
Steve Lewis,
Here.
Matt Armbruster, David Pierce, Danielle Woodward, Julie Kaufman, Steve West,
Here.
Doris Roberts,
Here.
and I am here.
So we have an excused with Danielle.
Yep, there's Julie.
Okay. But she is excused.
Yes.
Danielle, just to make it. I would like to let Julie get in her seat. I would like to thank Jerry Lewis for absolutely working her tail off, and everyone. But things have been kind of going right down here to Donham Plaza, and I appreciate Jerry trying to keep things moving. I would like, because she has been tabling or putting this in a spreadsheet, which I have had some access to, but all of us work, or most of us work, and it's just hard to get to this at the final. So I would ask that Jerry take a few moments and give us a description of your packet, if you wouldn't mind, and what you've kind of come up with. I would appreciate.
Sure. Could you pass that packet that's in that chair down to Julie so she has that?
Oh, yeah, she was up the far.
I did email this as well. In the packet, you're going to find all of the quotes for 3 different bids or playgrounds. One of them is the original Bernanke. The second one, Julie sent, let me see here, came today. I apologize. So one's from Schneider, one's from, can I see this for a second?
Yeah.
Mid-State, and the other one is from Treetop. So in the spreadsheet that's got the budget line items in it, there's 3 options, option 1, option 2, option 3. That breaks down the pricing for those different choices, as well as another option of Schneider with some pieces of equipment that I recommend taking out just to bring down that price from Bernanke. That's also included. I included those pieces. I went with after talking with Jason, his recommendations for high-priced items that didn't necessarily have to be in the playground to bring down that price. You'll also find in the pack the basketball court options. There's 6 different options. You guys asked me to take that back to the courts and ask him his recommendations based on the colors that you all voted on at last meeting, and that's what that is. I also worked with Charlie, and he sent me pictures of the Sunset Park benches, table, and trash cans. And so one of those columns in that budget spreadsheet doesn't reflect what those cost 3 years ago. So keep that in mind. We're working on trying to get updated pricing on those, but that's what those look like. That's really it. We're here for voting what we think is best, or you are voting. I'm just writing down notes, doing what you say.
So Charlie, I got a question for you on the the trash receptacles, the picnic tables, and I guess there's no bench, is there benches? The benches there at Sunset. Is that a standard that you're trying to set for all of the parks going forward, and that meaning that you would satisfied with the value of this equipment and the durability of these items?
So I was not directly involved in the purchase of I just thought that that was the last part that was been upgraded, and that was the style that the city went with. Alan was over this at that time. They seem to be, holding up very well. It's been 2 years, 2.5 years.
Isn't some of it working, like a bed on some of the benches?
Yeah.
Hey, would you mind coming down to one of the two mics right there in front? Sorry to be so demanding.
We know you love the microphone. We know you love the microphone. Turn it on, buddy.
Hello? Is it on? Yep.
Yeah. I think so. So you've been happy with you guys have been happy with the performance of this to date?
As far as I know, there wasn't any complaints. Doris said there was some
I could see some warping.
warping.
Some of them, they didn't have the center brace.
The ones on the far end, the county drive, I saw a big one today that was low, that's for sure not.
I've seen that one.
Would have thought they should have had a center brace in the first place, but
Were there any benches that were purchased that were metal? That's some of the ones that are in the parks already. Most of them are green, that's metal.
there are metal benches in the city that had been purchased in the past. Smith Park has a few.
All of Central Avenue is metal.
All of Central, yeah.
Are those the ones that are coated or not coated?
I think they're coated.
I think they're coated.
coated.
Yeah.
They're all coated?
Black.
Picnic tables, one of them today that are in Sunset Park.
Those were purchased 3 or 4 years ago when the communications director, they were purchased 4 or 5 years ago from a previous, actually I can't remember her name.
Was it Shelby?
Shelby
Shelby. She
purchased.
was our previous communications director.
They were for special events. The plan was to take them out anytime there was, a special event, especially on Central Avenue. But there's, the problem is they're so well made that it takes 4 employees to move one.
We put them at Sunset specifically for the food truck park nights. We used them last year at Lefferson and moved them back because they were well used for the food truck parks. And there's a number of events happening at Sunset, so we thought that'd be a good place for them this year.
And
They have
had been-
umbrellas.
They had been used on Central Avenue a couple times, but it was just very labor intensive to build, so.
Very heavy. I don't pick them up.
So what do we think about these wood ones versus the metal coated ones?
I think the metal's gonna stand up longer, but, it's totally up to you, whatever you all wanna decide.
Jerry, do we have any pricing on the metal coated ones?
I don't believe so, not yet.
I looked up pricing when this first began, and I think they were around $550 to $600 a piece.
Those are the ones that I sent were all metal. They're all metal. All the ones mine were metal.
It depends on the length and how you're gonna mount them. Some have, directly in concrete, some have mounting plates where you bolt them in, different.
Okay.
So even though we want to stay consistent, if something is failing and we're not getting the performance out of it, then, I mean, common sense says don't do it again. And then if we have to adjust that. So I do get nervous with the polymers, with the UV, and if they're not braced correctly, they warp. I mean, you get the same thing with wood nowadays, especially because we don't use redwood and cedar like we used to. So, I just to bounce off of what you're saying, if they're not performing correctly, I think we would be open to hear what would do something a little bit better. But if everyone's comfortable with what's over at Sunset and it's doing what it's supposed to do, then I'm all for staying with that. So I saw when I was over there last, I didn't see really anything wrong with the benches or tables.
The only thing I saw was the buckling on that one, and it may be because the support needs to be extra.
It seemed long. So it just seemed longer than the other, so
I think on these neighborhood parks that I think there needs to be seating, but there doesn't need to be seating for parties. In the sense of that the parents or kids are taking a minute and taking a break. I don't think we need a bunch of them in these neighborhood parks. The different links and things like that at a user park is something a little bit different, in my opinion. We don't have a shelter at Sherman. Don't know if we will go that direction. So picnic tables, if we can still use some that are available over there and they're functioning and they're fine, then I'm kind of for keeping that. But certainly with the new equipment, it would be nice to have that around that equipment, but I don't think we need a bunch. So what I'm getting at is I just think there are some different applications of this for certain parks, and then for other parks, you just don't need all these different, a couple trash cans and a couple benches, whether it's two or not, but that's all I'm saying. But not a bunch of big tables, not a bunch of picnic tables, not the table that's square that has the mounted seats to the concrete. I don't think that's necessary over at Sherman. If in fact a shelter comes into play, then that's something else, because we talked about potentially a grill over there. But we need to explore that. So to stay on this, Dave, did you have any other questions about the benches?
I will say, in her quotes, from Treetop, I don't see any in Mid-State. Correct me if I'm wrong, there's no bench, okay. Okay. Treetop, there's two that I see on there. One is $1,384 with 96 cents, and then the other one was $1,294.96. Now, because they're not a state contracted company, we would have to get more bids for that. So that may be on a different day.
Okay.
I was unaware that we had to open that up, and I never got a list of vendors that are state approved, so I didn't know who to go to. But in any case, I think what we were just looking at is we like the metal ones as opposed to the coated ones, as opposed to the wood ones. We thought they looked better over a period of time, 20-year guarantee, that type of thing. So that's what we were looking at there. I'm sure, because I know even Burke said he had benches.
Yeah, he has tables too, that other tables, I talked with him. He did say,
Benches that were exactly like the ones he said we were looking at. And
Okay.
He was gonna send a quote, I guess he didn't, but,
not yet.
anyways, he had he said he had the same thing, and he even looked at the catalog and said, yeah, we make those.
Would be nice if they matched the playground, if they're gonna be near the playground.
Well, we were thinking of a theme, whatever the theme color was, to make the benches, everything the same theme color all the way through.
Yep.
Now, his original quote does include benches that are metal, the original quote, before the 20 came out. I think it included either 2 or 4. Yeah, four benches.
That was the 220? Mm-hmm. The 220 quote?
So on top of this, so on this packet, you have option one, okay? If I go to the second page, it seems to have a colored picture.
Right, that's just what the playground looks like from the original quote, without any pieces taken out of it yet.
Okay. Then I go to the third page, summary from Charlie,
Explaining the benches and stuff,
right?
and he sent another email explaining that where he's at on the pavilions.
Correct?
And then the next page are the pieces that I, after talking with Jason, seem to be high ticketed, not necessarily necessary, that would be easy to take out.
Okay, so these pieces would come out of the
Original,
original that was on the second page.
yes,
That's what's going to help me. Okay.
correct. So that dollar amount I included on that as well would be taken out of including the picnic tables on the original. He said to take those dollar amounts out of the original estimate, and that would give us our dollar amount, which that is reflected on the spreadsheet.
Okay.
And that next page is pretty much him explaining just that I put on that page.
On the page where you pulled out the plexus climber 6 months, why did you pick those three things?
In my research and as well as talking with Jason, there's just no real need in talking with Danielle as well. That age group is minimal over there as it is. And then in looking at other parks that I visited around other cities, they didn't seem to have anything like that. So it was just a preference. I mean, you guys don't have to do that. It was just my suggestion. It seemed like that would be a high priced item we could take out that wouldn't necessarily be utilized. Or if it was utilized very minimally.
You mean all three of them?
Yes.
One of the things that Danielle and I, when we talked to Jason, we talked about panels. And we thought the panels that we talked about were gonna be included inside the actual big toy, small toy. And one of the things that isn't, that I think he put on as an add-on as we asked for it, is sitting in the middle. It's this right here. And it's not something either one of us, when we looked at it, was like, that's not
So even better, we can take even more out, right?
what we had in mind. We had it as a panel on the inside. If you're gonna have panels as part of it, we were coming up with suggestions for panels, not additional pieces. You know what I mean on that? We weren't looking for additional pieces of equipment for that particular thing.
I go by two, not,
At the base of the small toy there.
I went by something Charlie said stuck in my head this week too. When you get panels and things that have little pieces, those pieces break off. And so we might want to rethink taking even more out. That's fine too.
Well, that was something that we weren't, I mean, we looked at each other and thought, that's not what we had in mind. We didn't need something additional. We were just looking to, this, you know, to have you something.
And then, Jerry, on the back page, this is representing what? The treetop?
Treetop, yeah. I couldn't find two of the pieces when I did a search in the website, but this is everything else that came up.
Okay, I just don't want it to confuse, I don't want to confuse it with, and I know you have the three options, but I just don't want to confuse it with Snyder.
Those are the things that were in this catalog here. And the ones that we were looking for, actually, we were talking to Jason, we were looking for, we really like the super dome climber, that type of thing, the merry-go-round, so we were looking for those things and had him add
I think the real, excuse me, the real dilemma here is, do you want to open it up to quotes or use a state? Because you'd have to do a standard 30-day.
Use a state.
Yeah.
No what?
I don't think we want to open that.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Because I mean,
Try and put as much with Jason as we can, right?
yeah, roughly, I'd say probably with install lead time, it'll be August, maybe Labor Day weekend,
Yeah.
it'll be done. So, of the three options, you have, Snyder, is Burke on the list?
Burke and Snyder are the same.
Burke and Snyder are going to be, if you don't want to open it up to
Get bid.
multiple
No,
bids.
I want everyone just to have a moment
Yeah.
and I just want to understand the packet, so I'm reading it correctly. I get where you're going though, Steve, and I appreciate that. And I don't want to wear this out. I just want to give everybody an opportunity. And I'm trying to understand the packet because people have put some time into this, everyone.
So to the extent most of these benches or tables are going to be adjacent or close to the playground equipment, I think it makes sense for it to match.
Right.
So I would stay with Burke on whatever their recommendations are for the color.
For around the playground.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if we move out towards the basketball court or then we go over to,
Although, keep in mind, we are matching the basketball court to the playground.
right,
So,
That's
Okay.
true.
well, there goes
Plus,
the,
it'd be easier, to your point, Steve, to just put it all with Burke.
yeah.
So the consistency thing becomes Burke is the consistent supplier for this park and future parks. Is sort of the direction that we're heading.
And the quality's good, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
and
know
the
you went to
warranty.
the convention or whatever with all the toys, so the quality does look good.
I get it, that's why you don't keep repeating yourself and then it goes out the door a little bit. I just know that, well, I know council was talking consistency with some of this, so we may have to kind of work with that. So I'm comfortable, I'm just going to be blunt. I'm comfortable with what Snyder has come up with, what Jason has come up with. I guess my color, I actually don't mind this green and purple theme. I'm going over here to the colors that move you. I'm taking that's through Burke, right, through Burke. So I'm not trying to jump ahead of anybody, but I'm just getting what's on my mind getting off my mind what I'm thinking here. I really don't have a problem with the colors that were in this original part, and I also don't have a problem with getting relatively close to that with option 2 for the basketball court. That's my 2 cents. I would agree that we do have the benches included in this.
In option 1.
Right.
Now, option 1 does not include taking out the 20,000 in the equipment. So we'd have to say option 1, keep the benches and stuff in there, but take out the dollar amount that was on that one page.
I would consider approving the full 220,
Okay.
knowing that you're going to take
Take out.
some equipment out, but what you're going to exchange it for is probably benches at the basketball
Okay,
court there, because there's nowhere to sit at basketball.
Yeah.
And so I would approve an amount not to exceed
okay.
220 with the likelihood that we're just going to stay below 220. We're going to stay at or below 220, but we know there's going to be a little bit of ins and outs here.
Is that
That-
like 4 benches for the entire park?
No, there's already, what, like 6 of them
in the drawing, in the
in
original.
his drawing already, right? Well, I don't know. We don't know yet. We know there's $20,000 roughly. There's $20,000 there of equipment we know is going to come out, and we would hope that, well, that's just our limit of how many more benches we're going to put in,
Yeah. No, that sounds great.
right?
Yeah.
You got,
Yes, and I want to, let me throw this in. So Dave and I went to a Midway board meeting, and we sat and listened to them, heard what they were wanting to get done, and I opened the door to them. Okay, what, like in our meeting, give me a short list. Well, the one thing that they came up with was bleachers. They're desperately in need of bleachers over there. So, by shaving a little more money off of Sherman, we're trying to, it would be my hope and suggestion to us, to you guys, that we're trying to take that money and be useful over there at Goldman.
Yeah.
I think it's all I think we all want to support them and try and do the right thing for them. So with some of this shaving over at Sherman, which I still think they will have a wonderful park, especially when we get, Charlie, take this the right way, but when we get the asphalt kind of taken care of, we get a lot of that out of there, we get things growing and greened up and some stuff. I just think it's going to look very nice.
It's a beautiful park.
But I agree with Dave that we leave the dollar amount where it is, and that allows us for a little bit of movement with, I think, with seating.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
no, Charlie had.
I actually getting quotes on benches, or
Bleachers?
bleachers. We actually need 12 there, and it's around $16,000.
Total,
Yes.
that's it?
It's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's the 4-row?
That's delivery,
Do those have railings on them?
they do not.
They don't
they're
need
three
it.
rows high. They don't need them if they're 3
Okay.
rows high.
Yeah.
Those are metal.
So almost every bleacher out there is,
It's in it's in dire need of replacement.
yes.
Cinder blocks. We're using cinder blocks
Yes.
and wood, which
Yeah.
is dangerous
When
as
the wood's
heck.
broke, that old wood's warped and broke, so.
Thank you.
I was gonna bring this up after.
Thank you. Yeah, but I know you guys had not heard that we went over there and that I opened it up to them. What would really be the first need that would help ease your life? And I think it's a great idea and opinion, because they want those patrons and the crowds to have a decent place to sit and watch their kids.
Well, it's a safety issue right
Big
now.
time safety issue.
So Charlie, again, can you restate what you said? How many bleachers did you get?
12 bleachers, 15-foot long, 3-row. The price was, this was the first bid I got. I've got 2 more in my email right now that I have not looked at. And so right now, 16,000 would be the most.
Can you
16?
Can you forward that to us so that we have that too?
Yes.
Yeah.
can you confirm that 4 rows don't require the
4 rows do
handrail?
require,
They do.
yes.
Okay.
That's what I.
Anything
Is
above
that why you
3
went with 3 rows? Yeah.
Okay.
Are they wood or metal? the
These are
seats?
aluminum.
Aluminum.
Oh, everything's aluminum?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And we did bring a number up because of potential tournaments and maybe them hosting a tournament. Would it be wise that we don't get maybe 14 or 16, that they have some spares there for tournament? Or can we come down and grab some at the maintenance barn
To add.
that aren't being used, if that were to occur?
If they have a special event, they can apply for a special event permit, and then if they need extra bleachers, we could bring them.
Okay, okay.
I had a question though about, originally, or at least this is my thinking, originally when we talked about the money that we had total, we talked about, under $1 million for Sherman and the rest would be specifically for Coleman. So, are we getting close to that? You know, I mean, what?
No, I think through what we have been seeing and going over there every day at Sherman, and this at least it happens for me when we were doing these park projects, every day was different. We would take a tree down. Well, that opened up an area. We would take down a piece of equipment. That would open up an area. So through just conversations, I have been kind of looking at it going, can we reduce this a little bit, keep it nice, it's changed, but going back over to Goldman, where I think something like a walking path, something like a few exercise stops, it's a bigger park. I think we move more money over to Goldman, is what I'm trying to get to. And we try and stay, I mean, honestly, after looking at this and hearing the prices, trying to stay around 500 or less to take care of Sherman.
Yeah, I think that was always our intent, was about 500 for Sherman and then roughly $1 million at Goldman.
And then spread the rest around.
Yeah,
Well, if there is.
and we're right
So
there.
there might be 200 grand, maybe,
But it's.
but it's roughly five.
I'll
Well,
go.
I guess I don't have any problem with that. My thinking is that there's $240,000 is a lot for just equipment or just the playground stuff. And I guess when I was looking at, what Playworld was offering with their equipment, $100,000 versus $240, it was a big difference for me. I always thought Burke was high. And maybe there's stuff in there that I didn't think was all that important. That how many slides do we need? How many of these? So I thought it was expensive, and I would rather pull that down than chintz on a shelter. I really think a shelter would be a good thing in there. And when I talked to Danielle today, she said the park was jam-packed yesterday. And she said she can't wait until, it gets done, and she said a shelter would be great. She said even if we could have a grill, she said it would just be amazing. People would be using it. She goes, we used to have one, and people were always over there, under the shelter with the grill and all of this. So, I hate to chintz on that. I'd rather pull back a little bit on the equipment, of the playground equipment, and, make sure that we have some of the other stuff. And I had talked to Dave about fitness. The more I thought about it, fitness would probably be better at Goldman, where people could see it. You're really hidden in Sherman. Nobody would ever, if you don't know it's there, you won't know, you couldn't find that park. I mean, you have to go looking for Sherman. Where, you drive right by Goldman, or you drive right by Douglas, or you drive right by. So some other park might be better for something like that, but I'd hate to chintz on a shelter or some of the bigger things.
Even in the quotes on the spreadsheet, we did figure out a shelter in that budget, and it's still keeping it under that. Yeah.
We're still tracking, so I think we need to continue our conversation here and see what comes up that we haven't already put in the budget before we go back and look at the playground area. I'd like to keep the 220 on the table, knowing that everybody's on board with that, and let's shift our conversation forward and talk about the other things here that we believe that we need. Because I think we're tracking okay to the $500,000 level at Sherman.
But if you do look at the spreadsheet, there's two different options, and both of them each have a shelter included in that budget.
Correct.
So, one's more expensive than the other. So that's good that it's included in that.
So Steve talked about the color of the
Yes.
the
Both,
basketball.
both the
Right, so let's
basketball
make a
and the color of the playground equipment.
Do those have to get voted separately? The equipment as one motion?
Well, we'll come back and
Or-
approve the equipment later after we get through the rest of the numbers.
Okay,
But I think that's sort of the centerpiece that starts the discussion on everything else.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
yeah,
Sorry, you okay with that?
Yeah, no.
just want to make sure.
So on the basketball courts, what color were you talking about, Steve?
I liked option number 2.
Yeah, the purple with the yellow.
And I like the 4 additional square games. Foursquare and hopscotch.
I think it looks great.
I love that. I don't get a vote, but I love that.
So that's, and honestly, I'm comfortable with making a motion that if we were to pick number 2 with those colors, I'm fine with that. And I think we go ahead and we do 2 separate votes. Because
Yeah.
I would like to go back to the equipment and allow everyone a little bit more time, just if we think we need to chisel something out of it or add something to it. And then I would like it just one more time defined. So everyone that's watching or hearing, they know we are trying to get this down and really be conscientious with the money. So I will make a motion for the basketball coating and color of option number 2. And I can't read those colors, Jerry, so I'm sorry. It just didn't come out very well on the print. But if that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a specific name of colors, but
Then somebody second it,
I second.
then call.
Well, for discussion or no?
Yeah, is there discussion?
You can have discussion.
Well, I would just ask Charlie, any unintended consequences of picking purple over green? I'm all for the purple, but anything we're not thinking about, purple versus green?
Not that I would.
Okay. From a use or wear
and if there's any
perspective or
discussion,
Yeah.
so,
Ah,
All right, let me
Good.
call roll.
yes.
Steve Lewis,
Yes.
Matt Armbruster,
Yes,
Dave Pierce,
yes.
Julie Kaufman.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we are having a swing set though.
Yep,
And
didn't even touch that.
I'm going back and forth to what you have removed to this picture, which is fine. I'm just making sure that I'm seeing what I'm supposed to be seeing.
Everybody has voted on using Cincinnati Sportscapes.
Yes,
adversity.
we already did that
Yeah.
2 meetings ago, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a playground set in here, right? Okay. Or the swing set, I should say. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm going to make a motion to adopt option number 1 for the playground equipment at Sherman Park. Where do I throw this color scheme in?
Well, we voted on that the last time.
Last time.
yeah, we
Color
voted on
scheme.
the color.
Did we
Yeah,
get
we
it?
already voted this on the last
Remember,
meeting, this color scheme.
Danielle had a motion and we followed up.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yep. So what don't you have? That's what
This
I'm
is
looking
option
at.
1. Yeah, right there. Yeah,
Okay.
She has it written up on top for me.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's how it printed out.
everybody's got it, yeah.
Okay.
color?
yeah.
Yes, that's the color. Yep.
Okay. Good.
And do we have a motion, second?
Second.
But I will leave it, I'm going to leave it open for discussion. If anyone has any other talk. I know where we've been with this. I get it. I'm just making sure no one has any other questions.
And just to clarify, your motion was for option 1 not to exceed 220K?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, 220, 853, 25. It's what's in the,
Yep.
Yeah, front page.
yes.
So in the packet, is this option 1?
Okay, so that is the original.
This is
okay?
the original,
That is
okay.
the original. Now, if you were to move back to like the 5th page,
Yeah,
you'll see 3.
Yep, taking
okay,
those out.
those are what are being
Okay.
removed.
And then suggested
With-
to replace that with benches
With
Right.
around the
benches.
court.
With dollar figures of each one.
okay, I get it.
Take that out too. I would say take one more, take this out as well.
Which one?
The one, it's a standalone that's right here next to, underneath this piece of equipment. There's nothing to it. It just shows, it's like a panel that sits by itself.
Is that,
Are you talking about the circular
Yeah,
one?
Okay,
So that one right there.
A little arch thing by it.
got it.
That was,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the one Danielle and I were like, what's that?
what is it?
Well, it was, we thought, when we talked to Jason about like the panels, we were describing the ones we thought. That was one of the ones Danielle thought, but we thought it was gonna be incorporated into one of the panels inside the toys.
Okay.
Not a standalone.
yeah, let's remove
That's
it.
just excessive money that we.
Okay, I
Yep.
get it. I'm still kind of wondering, what is it? what does it do?
You put a kid in front of it, and they stay busy for like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll move this along.
Yeah,
Right.
So Steve, do we go back and, or did we just move on? We're,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure we all know that that we are agreeing to this piece being removed, if that's what we're talking about.
And what I can do too, to stay in that 220 as well, now that we're removing that and the other two equipment you guys voted, I go back to Jason, he'll give me something beautiful and exactly what we're gonna get, and that's what will be presented on May 7th,
Okay.
council.
But I'm following Julie's lead on this, and I'm in agreement, but I'm not an expert with this thing, but I appreciate
Yeah, I
if you
agree.
don't think it's useful and we can save a little bit, I'm all for it.
I have a question. Are you gonna go with the VersaCourt basketball stuff at the Golden? Or are you just gonna repair the court there?
We haven't done an assessment on that yet.
Wondered if it was cheaper to buy two than one,
Well-
if you're gonna go there.
Oh.
So with this being a special meeting, we have to stick to
Yeah.
Sherman.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
got to really stay right with this. And with that said, Doris, I wanted to make sure with the Midway thing that we were talking now some real numbers that they were willing to give us. So that's why I interjected that on why we are kind of shaving down some at Sherman. Anything else?
Okay, I'll take roll. Steve Lewis,
Yes?
Matt Armbruster,
yes.
Dave Pierce.
Yes.
Julie Kaufman. Are we voting on the shelter tonight or no?
I gotta go look at the spreadsheet. I have not been able to get a computer, so I don't know what these are costing.
So
Yeah.
if you look on the pack I sent or gave you, I included an email that Charlie presented two
Yes,
prices.
sorry. Yep.
Okay.
The pavilion.
The pavilion, yep.
Gotcha.
So there's two prices there, and you're waiting on a third, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So we can wait on that third, or are they state contractors? Do you know offhand?
I don't,
The 20 by 20
I can't remember.
concrete pad.
I'm getting so many quotes for so many different
I know.
I know,
I know,
man.
bud.
Just, yeah. So, right, I can't remember for the shelter. I believe, I know one was not, but he has offered to apply for the source well, for state contract, so, if he's awarded, I believe he's the lowest bid right now,
Okay.
so.
So that's up to you guys if you want to wait for that third, or,
So, Charlie, the two that you have bids on, are those in essence the same shelter, or would you recommend one over the other?
There's one, the one is metal roof, metal poles. The other is wood with shingle roofing, I believe.
So the more expensive one is the metal,
Yes,
I would assume?
actually, I don't think so. Like I said, that's all I've been doing for the last few weeks is getting quotes and
So would we be better off to just move this over to the next meeting on the shelter? I'm not trying, but just so I have clarity, because there's a $10,000 difference.
You want to do a not to exceed?
yeah, that's true too. When you have a roundabout not to exceed 60, that's really,
Specific one, but at least if you're looking at a budget item.
Well, not an argument, but to me, I would like to know, to me, the 57,000 would represent, but I don't want to say would represent the metal roof. In the long run, to me, the metal roof is the way to go.
Agreed.
now there are pictures from Sunset. What are the comparison of the Sunset?
it would be very similar to,
Very similar
Okay.
to that, the metal one,
same color.
same color and everything. And those pictures are in the pack.
So that's the one, okay.
I would recommend approving an amount not to exceed of 57.5.
Anyone want to second that?
I'll second that.
Who's doing the concrete pad?
This contractor was through,
Same, okay.
Who seconded?
I'd second it. Because I would like to go back over, obviously, and really, we got to think about, you know, I've had ideas where it should go, but I would really, the whole group get over there and, you know. You take a vote? We're good?
Steve Lewis?
Yes?
Matthew Armbruster?
Yes.
Dave Pierce?
Yes.
Julie Kaufman?
Charlie, I hope all this is going to fit on this footprint without having to move a lot of dirt around.
yeah. It's going to be an adventure.
You got it.
With that, I'll just leave it. I don't think I'll go to each, I mean, if anyone else has any comments for the board comments, please speak
I
up.
think there's some other items we could approve.
Talk.
You okay with that?
Yep.
Let's go.
Animal-proof trash receptacles. How many, somewhere we got a number of $6,000. I don't know how many trash receptacles that is.
They're between 800 and 1,000.
The trash receptacles that were sent in that email today were 1,500
1,500.
per trash can.
There are similar options, a little cheaper.
Yes. So I just figured in that dollar amount I put on there, I figured 4.
Okay.
I have a question for you. When you were talking about animal proof, exactly what you were looking for, because most companies, when you talk to them, they talk about rain proof, not animal proof.
Oh, well, I don't know how we put animal proof on our,
I think that was something that Paul might have talked about. I don't know.
I don't know how that ended up on the spreadsheet, even though I probably put it there.
But with the, one thing with the trash receptacles, we contract with Rumpke to empty those, and I believe Sherman only has 2 currently, so if you put more in, they would either not dump them or we would have to, which, this is the last year of the contract, so we're looking at trying to find some other options.
So is there a number you want us not to exceed with trash receptacles?
I'm good with whatever you pick for the numbers. We just have to make an adjustment to either our budget or Rumpke will have to, you know.
So Rumpke already does 2. If we did 4, that's doubling it.
Do
Start
they
it there.
dump them every week?
Yes.
Are they full? Do you know? I mean, are
weekend?
size of park?
It depends on the weather, like this weekend, you know.
Yeah, depends on who
sunny and-
throws the trash on the ground too.
So 6,000 sounds like enough for 4 of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need to approve that 6, or we would just put that in our budget?
Just put it in their budget, the 220, right?
Yeah, you could either back that cost in on the removal of the equipment out of that 220 if you wanted, or you could do a separate approval for not to exceed 6K on top of the.
Okay. Well,
And here's the other thing to think of too. So with it sounds like, you know, with the shelter there, you're going to have 20K for additional benches, seating or whatever. So some of that 20K could be used for something under that shelter as well. So if it's in the budget, you could do a separate 6K for receptacles
okay,
if you're comfortable with that.
I am. I'll make a motion for 6,000 for trash receptacles.
Second.
Okay. Oh, my bad. Steve Lewis,
Yes.
Matt Armbruster,
Yes.
Dave Pierce.
Yes.
Julie Kaufman.
Are we going to need to approve any new amounts for picnic tables for underneath if we move with it forward with a shelter?
Again, in the original quote, there are tables included in that.
It looked like only one, though, if you look at the,
Yeah.
right,
So-
only one, but we'd probably need, what, 4 tables?
At least two.
20-foot, yeah, need at least 4, I would think, if it's 20 foot long.
And I will say-
In addition to the 2 that are already in the park?
I know Bernanke is cheaper than the tables at Sunset. I know that for a fact. I mean, almost, you can get 2 tables for the price of what Sunset's was, if I recall that quote.
Wooden ones though, right? I like the metal ones better.
Yeah,
I think the wooden ones are like, 4 would be nice. The picnic tables that they have there, I think of the portable ones that are already on there,
yeah.
they're not near as nice as what the ones, I don't know, I guess I was just thinking the ones underneath, the new ones, we wouldn't get any new ones except the ones that would go under the shelter.
Right.
That was where we would put all the picnic tables, under the shelter.
So give me a number for 4 picnic tables under the shelter then.
I would say 1,500. It'll be less than 15 per, with Bernanke, it'd be less than 1,500. So that's
6,000 enough then for 4 tables?
4 tables.
They were,
I'll make a motion for 4 picnic tables under the shelter not to exceed 6,000.
You're comfortable with that price, Jerry?
Yeah,
Okay, second?
I think we can do better than that.
Okay.
say 1294 at Treetop.
Yeah,
We should be okay then.
I second Mr. Pierce's motion.
look at y'all getting stuff done.
Well, it's easy when you guys did all the groundwork to provide the information.
Oh, my bad. Steve Lewis,
Yes.
Matt Armbruster,
Yes.
Dave Pierce,
Yes.
Julie Kaufman.
All right, let's go to the walking track. Install the walking track from Sherman that connects Wayne and Sherman that goes behind the backstop. Currently, that is in the budget for $3,500, and I pulled that off, I think, an email or something you provided, Charlie, to be able to connect. How do we feel about the walking track? To complete the circle around the people to be able to walk around. I mean, right now, we see people just walking across the grass across the park. But that's not all that conducive for kids on roller skates and
Right.
moms pushing
Strollers.
strollers and
Bikes.
I mean, once again, you go down and what you do is you watch the traffic, right? People are going to point A to point B as quick as they can. But I agree that a path connecting the 2 streets would be, I would hope, would be convenient. I mean, I still feel that when the roadway alley is, when we can get there and clean that up, to the one side of the park, I think there will be a venue for people to use that will be safe for strollers, things of that nature. Then at the other end of the park, if people are using it, I don't know what the traffic would be. I feel, though, I think it would be nice. Would it help keep that end of the park a little bit better cleaned up? I don't know, but I'm still in favor of that going in.
Just food for thought. I know I don't have a vote in it.
Nope.
Once this park gets done and it's beautiful, everyone and their mom is going to go to that park. So something like that, if we anticipate that, having something like that is a great idea to have it.
Because I think we narrow down the entrance and exit, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we all know that the Wayne Street entrance is going into the park and into the basketball court.
Correct.
And the Sherman side, we will get that figured out. We will get, I'm almost still leaning that there might be 2 entrances on that. I don't know, but we just got to look at it. So where I'm going with this is we alleviate a lot of asphalt over there. And we get back into grass. So any place that they can go across would be nice. That path, though, is out there. I mean, it's on the edge. That's why I think it should go. I'm sitting here babbling about it. I think it should go, but I also appreciate it's not in the most highly visible spot.
I'm gonna move that we pay whatever it costs to get that paved across there for a walking path.
Yeah. I'll second that. Although I will say,
Are we putting a dollar amount on that or no? Not to exceed.
well, 3,500 if you're still comfortable with that.
I had a contractor offer to do it for 22,000, so, with the city doing it,
For how much?
22,000.
Heck, yeah.
22?
Well, I thought we were at 30.
That was the contractor's price. With the city doing it, it's 3,500.
Oh.
Yeah. I was just saying that for reference that,
22
So
grand?
that's the
Yeah.
cost of the asphalt.
yes.
Okay,
Who seconded that?
So they're charging $18,000 just to lay it?
okay.
You motioned.
Julie motion, Pierce second.
No, it's asphalt.
It'll be asphalt.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Wow. Good thing you got that paver.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Did we,
Do.
okay, do we have, so where are we at on your dollar amount? What is your motion, David?
3,500,
Not to exceed.
not to exceed.
Second,
Who seconded? Steve?
yes?
Okay. Steve Lewis?
Yes?
Matthew Armbruster?
Yes.
Dave Pierce?
Yes.
Julie Kaufman?
The only thing I'll say about that 3,500, and we're going to talk about it next, is that concrete wall that's there. It blocks that.
Correct.
Right now, it
Right.
blocks it. So
Right.
we might want to experiment on that site by just taking a little section out of there to see what's there.
I spoke to the gentleman that might help us.
That'd be the place to
Yeah.
do it, because we need to open that
We need to
up.
do it there, and then we need to go down to where one of the trees are actually at, just to get the idea of how thick the roots are and all that. But yes, that end was discussed because of the path.
Do you want to approve an amount not to exceed for that project now, or you want to tackle that later?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
I need to be there, and I need to have a real conversation. And not guys kind of driving by and looking at it and guessing. I'm not real comfortable with that yet. And if I can get one of them to go over there and, on his own time to help us do a little volunteer work, then that's what I'd rather do.
So what we're talking about, it's, if you go on the Sherman side, they left from the school that concrete,
Oh,
and it's deteriorating.
yeah.
Long-term, it's not good to leave it there.
Repaired or take,
Yep.
I mean, ideally, what you do,
because the way he's talked about those trees being there, that half scares me.
Yep.
What I'm gonna get into in there. Might be
And
cheap
that-
to repair.
I think it's a separate project, like everything is over there, but that's a little bit. I'd rather touch a few other items,
okay.
and we'll get back to that.
Let's go to the current walking paths that are in the park that we're going to get replaced. So we were talking about the path from Wayne to the basketball court, and then I think it's two of the other three paths that were there, Charlie, that I think is what you gave us an estimate on. 2 out of the other 3 paths that wind around either the drinking fountain or up to the basketball court from the Sherman side. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Okay. So I would propose an amount not to exceed $6,000 to replace those 3 current paths that are in the park.
And keep one or something, we're gonna have something from that side, right?
There'll be 2 from Sherman and 1 from Wayne. Then they're already there in place. They just need to be refurbished or redone. A new
Yeah.
look. Yeah.
Yeah, because we've, again, go over there, look and walk, and really 2 of them make the most sense because we don't know about the wall, but so we get rid of the wall. You still have those paths, and I think 2 is smart. Maybe we jog the one that's going to the farther to the east, and if we do decide that where we put this shelter, we may be swinging around. To be able to go right to the shelter, then maybe a cutoff, and then maybe another one over to the basketball court.
That would be nice.
And maybe that's how we approach it, and the other one would go directly to the swing set.
But whatever you need.
And you could come off of that other side of the swing set and have it go over to the
Basketball,
court.
that's good.
So, Charlie, does 6,000, I'm sorry to repeat this, the 6,000 would be refurbishing the paths?
That would be tearing them out and putting new
Right,
asphalt down. Yeah.
putting new in?
Yep.
Okay, okay.
So Dave motioned it. Who wants to second it?
I'll second.
Steve Lewis,
Yes?
Matthew Armbruster,
Yes.
David Pierce.
Yes.
And Julie Kaufman.
So Charlie, you had a line item TAC for gravel for paths. Is that in addition to what you need for the 6,000 for the walking tracks we just approved? Is that $2,000 in addition then?
That was the total package, so most of that's going to go towards the walking path, the path from Sherman to Wayne.
Okay.
You have to put a base in before we put the,
So I probably should have said $8,000 then instead of 6, because this 2 is in addition to the 6.
no, I think I had that, or yeah, yes.
Okay. I'll amend the replacement of the walking paths to $6,000.
It
To
was
8,000,
8,000.
sorry.
I was like,
To 8,000. Okay.
All right, revote. Steve Lewis,
Yes?
Matthew Armbruster,
Yes.
David Pierce.
Yes.
Julie Kaufman.
That was a question I was gonna have. Was the gravel?
Julie.
Julie did.
Was the gravel? I'm glad you brought it up, because I was,
I didn't know you guys called it TAC.
So that was the walking path and the gravel.
It is the gravel for the walking path.
Gravel.
So that takes us to park signs. We had 2 estimates, I think, that were provided. I think I saw a picture of 3 signs, 3 different city signs that we have used in our parks. And it ranged from 8,300 to 12,900, I think. Do you have a point of view on which way we should lean in our park signage?
The neighborhood parks are shaped like the Crawford sign, so the smaller design.
But that's the real small one, right?
It's 7 foot tall.
I think it was the medium size. It was the medium one.
Now, is that,
How tall is the one at
9'6". It was, they were both the same, so the 2 smaller ones were the same, just one had the wooden insert and one had the laminated insert. Yeah,
And those are
The
8,000.
laminated. You recommend the laminated?
8336, I think then is that what, does that
Yes.
align to the Crawford sign?
yes. Mhm.
8,336? And that'll get it installed?
Yes.
It's fully,
I'll just speak out, when I looked around, I know the Douglas sign is the old one with the wood, and Smith is the wood too. I don't think they hold up, so they don't shine as well. Kind of dull out after a few years, so I like the metal ones better. I think
Yeah.
they hold up better, you can see them better, kind of skinny back. So I'm a favorite of the metal one.
is Crawford metal?
Yes.
Okay.
Same.
Okay, a motion to approve not to exceed $8,336 for a sign for Sherman Park.
Do we have a second?
well, so discussion, I just want clarity, because I had that, so what are we talking about, Dave?
Crawford.
The center one, okay.
Crawford Park.
So Dave is motioning. Do we have a second?
Julie did.
So the Crawford and the Rathman ball fields are the same height,
Yes,
essentially, just a different sign.
yes.
But all new parks will have that design,
Yes,
regardless.
unless something changes, but those are the signs that have been being replaced. As we change out the old wooden ones, we've been replacing them with those.
had a second, if you want to take a vote.
Who was the second?
Julie was.
Julie?
Steve Lewis,
Yes.
Matthew Armbruster,
Yes.
David Pierce,
Yes.
Julie Kaufman.
Charlie, do we need to approve any amounts for removal of the asphalt that's there already? I'm thinking about that small little parking lot that's there where we're going to put either the shelter or the playground. I mean, we've decided that, I think that that has got to come out. Is there monies allocated there for what it might cost to take that out?
We take it to an asphalt company and they charge $1 a ton to take it to them, so it's very minimal.
Okay. Is there any other demolition costs that you see that we need to build into this budget?
I don't think so. Now, with the old equipment, was Snyder going to remove that, or were we going to remove that?
We were removing that. Yep.
Is there anything else?
I do, I have a couple things. We talked about doing something with the water. Upgrading the water.
Oh, yeah.
For that, and I just came up with a price, $5,600, basically $5,700 for a bottle refill with, AD drinking and pet bowl and all that. That was a high price, but it was the only company I saw that had all three things. I'm sure that Sunset, what they had, they just had the drinking fountain, it's gotta be cheaper, but I would think that it probably should be updated, and I don't know what stores we use, but I think that should probably be somehow included. Maybe at the next meeting we could talk about that, or I know there was something about, did we apply for a grant, or are we applying for a grant?
That isn't until October.
Yeah, not until October. That grant's not until October.
So it's not even able to be put in until, okay, well, I need to wait till October on that. I'm afraid I can miss the mark, but, and I'm not sure, if it's $1,000 or $500 or whatever it would take to upgrade that.
Charlie, have you gotten any prices on water fountains like that at all?
Not yet.
Or do you have a vendor that you'd recommend?
No, not really.
Okay.
We just look at prices.
Julie, who was the company that you had gotten that price from? Treetop. So they would still have to go through the 3 bids thing.
And the same thing, I guess, with, coming up with a grill,
Oh,
a price for a grill. I have one that's just $1,000, from Treetop. It was just one that happened to be there as a catalog. I just marked it down, and that's what they gave me, 1,028 is what Treetop has here. But at least looking at a price, if you want to put it down, that's what the grill cost was. I'm sure that you probably could get one for less, but
Yeah.
that was their price.
I can get with, either one of us, Charlie or I, can get and find out some other vendors so the next meeting we can bring grill and water options.
And I'm not sure what a bike rack cost would be. Mine was extremely cheap at $220. Of course, none of this is insulation or anything like that, but, and it seems to me that the ones at Sunset are really simple construction, it probably isn't that much except for the concrete.
I'm wondering too, within that 220, if we can see if he can include a bike rack in that
Yeah.
with Bernicky. That might be a good,
That would be nice too. I know Danielle and I talked about 2 of those, and at $220, that's not a great expense.
yeah.
Down by the basketball court, and of course, we're thinking went down far end where the path is for the soccer, kickball, baseball. looking at the plans for the future, that was something that was listed in their signage, and it isn't, it's a message board for what's coming up, what things are happening in the community. I think it's a good way to get the message out of what is happening in the city. So,
I'll put this comment in the for what it's worth category. I put a message board up at Jayco, and I had great intentions.
you didn't keep up with
It never got used, and it's glassed in, and it had a key, and it is a target for baseball bats and other obstacles while kids are on bikes riding by it,
Yeah.
because it's near the walking track or bicycle track. So it sounds great, but the execution of it is hard, because you'll get to the point is who's going to go there and post it, who's going to keep it current, and if it goes stale, people will stop the data goes stale, they'll stop looking at it. So I just see it as it's a great idea, but the execution strategy,
But you didn't keep up with it, Dave.
well, that's what happens when you have volunteers.
That's true. And then the last thing I want to ask about are, Dave, do you know what the cost of 2 soccer goals would be? If we put in soccer goals down there, not giant ones, it doesn't have to be anything. Can we get a price? Because I asked Jason for a price, and he said he would get it. I know he's busy, but anyways, just to set him up down there, it does not have to be fantastic.
Yeah, so soccer would be happy to donate a couple of goals. The issue is going to become, how do you secure those into the ground? Because people like to go hang on those. They like to do a lot of things to them, to where they become a risk, a hazard of falling over and hitting kids. So I don't know what the right answer is, but soccer could donate them, but keeping them into the ground secure is an issue.
And I suspect mowing around them would be a pain.
Yeah, the mowers, they're not gentle.
Yeah.
No, the nets will get cut up in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I like that idea. It's like something extra to do over there,
We could do it and try it and see how it
how it goes.
works, but they just, unless you're there every day maintaining it and looking out over it, when you just have 2 goals out arbitrarily in a community, you got to be very intentional about going out and pulling inspections on it. It's easy for soccer at Smith Park because somebody's down there every day looking and they put them back up, or the Parks Department might put them up. I don't know.
There's the go for goal option, but that's 35,000. They go into the ground and you pull them up out, lock them in, and then when you're done, you just unlock them and they go back down.
We can take them over there and try it and see how it works.
Trial.
I guess the thought I'm having is we give people, maybe even for a season, just to see what you could do over there. You know, that this was an intention, this is something to do. It's a thought.
I'm of the belief too, let's see how they take care of everything else before we start adding more stuff. All the new stuff, let's see how they take care of it. Just my opinion.
Yep. We can make that happen.
So, Julie, do you have anything else?
About that, I had another question, but.
Go ahead.
ask you,
No, go ahead. I mean, I was going to comment on some of your points, but go ahead, finish your
No,
thoughts.
that's it.
So we currently have an active water fountain there now. It works, right? So my thoughts are, I would much rather table any discussion about water right at the moment and get the layout figured out. Of course, the water's going to be where it is. I mean, that I would, if we go with a new top part of it, you know, I do not see us moving the water line. But I would just, that one, I don't see a need other than just a basic water fountain. That's my opinion. Do we have any grills sitting around in the corner of the maintenance barn that aren't being used?
Yes.
Okay. I agree with 2 bike racks. So my point is, not to leave you, if we might have a decent grill, Charlie, and I'm going to be honest, you know, I go up to Armbruster Nature Preserve, we have one up there. I don't think it's ever been used. I kind of scratch my head and go, well, can we use it somewhere else where it can be utilized? That's all. And can we be a little creative in that sense? I do agree with the 2 bike racks. I wouldn't go any more than that, but I think you are on mark with one of them being up to the east and one being down there. The soccer, is that, and the soccer stuff. Remember, we do have the backstop there. Can we do something to secure those? David, are they light enough for 2 or 3 people to pick a goal up and move it?
Yes.
Okay. So that's something to think about, is that we would have them secured to the backstop, or even if Mr. Dalton wasn't using the property over there, come up with some idea to secure them. I know it's pie in the sky thinking, but if there's truly a group and they know there's goals down there, you may get a group wanting to go down there.
I agree.
But we do need to have them and come up with a responsible way. Can they take 20 minutes and move those back over and chain them up? Just a thought, if you decide to move some goals down there. So, that's all I had. Matt?
I don't have anything.
David?
No, I was just going to take a second and see if I can update the spreadsheet to see where we are from a dollar perspective on what we talked about tonight.
Well, please do that. Can I ask you a question about, has nothing to do with Sherman Park, but the tree thing? Do you know that $300,000 grant, is that a takedown thing or plant thing?
So what it will be first is an assessment. It'll be an assessment of what the canopy of the city is. They will hire a private contractor to come in and check the health of the trees.
Okay.
That's where it starts first.
It's every tree in the community.
Yep.
And then, generally speaking, it'd be like, take these down and maybe plant some more. I mean, is it just a takedown thing, get rid of this? Or
Well, no, yeah, I mean, it's a rejuvenation, it's a renovation type grant, that's how it's set up. But you don't really know, like this, we didn't go get bids from Bartlett or Davy Tree Company to give us a quote on what it's gonna take to drive around and do an assessment. So we don't know what kind of money's gonna be left. But
do
the,
you anticipate like taking some down and adding some?
and having some.
Adding some?
Adding some? Yeah,
Or is it just a taking down kind of thing?
no, I don't think so, but again, it's where the money ends up.
Okay.
And safety, safety is key. Safety is key. Right, yeah, I know.
I was just trying to get your opinion of what you thought.
I mean, I've been talking to Ally a little bit about it. I think she is trying to get into the groove of it and get an understanding. I was gonna talk to Wendy up at Tree City Thursday and get a little bit better idea of what other communities have done to get kind of a baseline.
I can get you.
No, it's.
I mean, I'm on the internet.
Yep, it's an assessment, then it will be prioritizing
Probably do it from this.
deadly trees,
You can?
downfalls, stuff like that, widowmakers. Then I would think, then the pricing, and then we get into what are the best, where are we going with these trees? Where are we going with new trees?
That's all I was asking.
And Ally has reached out, which I appreciate. She has reached out to myself, Chris Mack. I asked Chris Mack with Arbor Care. There's about 3 or 4 really good horticulturalists and arborists in town. We are not looking to make some committee. We are not doing, but to maybe give her a little help.
I do.
And since we're out in the field all the time in these neighborhoods and around, what we see and what we don't see. So,
That was my question. Somebody asked about it. and I
yeah,
wanted to know.
I appreciate it. I think, I don't know, it might be wise to maybe have Ally come here and give us a real quick brief, and you get a chance to hear it. So if there are questions from council, but
I agree.
which I don't know, yeah, but we'll see if we can get her here.
Okay.
She can give us a,
You'll be overseeing that.
I think that's kind of how it's come, how I've understood it.
Dave, I did send another link to it today.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay.
Dave, I'm happy to wait and hear a number if there's not a bunch of pressure on you.
Why don't you get up and entertain us?
No, I'm not doing that. Preferably go to bed. So
Got it, Jerry.
Did you?
Hey, Steve, just for your information, we talked to Paul about cameras. I think it's important that we put cameras up at Sherman Park to have eyes on this asset. Maybe we won't be able to stop any damage in process, but at least we could post, people could see that their camera's posted, and we could post signs that it's under surveillance that might deter any vandalism. I think it's inherent upon us in any neighborhood to put up cameras and do what we can to protect the equipment, because I know we'll all be sick at our stomach once we put this in and wake up the next morning and find out that the assets have been vandalized in any way. I think it's...
I agree.
So just want to give you a heads up. I think the conversation needs to be had with the police department with regards to the install of the cameras and potentially any night lighting if they choose, that they feel like it's a site where it's appropriate to have some lights, security lights there at night. I think that conversation needs to be had with the police. We have not initiated that. We've just brought it up as an issue.
Okay.
Just to make you aware of it.
Yep. I agree.
Dave, on page 51 of the master plan here, it says that for Sherman Park, cameras and lighting are present.
The camera is not working because
So they are there, they're just not working.
they need to figure out the internet piece.
Have we decided if the lights were working for the basketball court?
They were on when I went over there. Yeah.
Because I know the neighbors said they weren't last time I was by.
Last time I drove by was 2 weeks ago. They were on. But I can drive by again and make sure.
I'm never by that late at night for them to be on.
I know, I shouldn't be, but I was. That for sure.
Steve, one other thing in regards to like how we feel some of this park being taken care of, but that street over there, I'm still going to argue, and I would ask you to take a look at it, but see if that can't be handled through another account and not us.
Right.
I don't think that's fair. That's traveled for many other. I'm not going to go into my spiel. You know where I'm coming from. If you don't think it should be that way, I appreciate that. But I'd like you to at least maybe take one more look and advocate for us if you feel where I'm coming from.
No, I agree. Because I mean, if there's a lot of alleys in the city,
Right.
and so, if there was an alley somewhere else that wasn't adjacent to a park, where would that come out of?
Exactly.
And so, just because this one's close or right next to the park,
Right.
I
I think that's a great take.
yeah,
So, but not trying to bend any arms. I'm just.
No, I agree.
And
Yeah.
again, just trying to protect this money so it goes directly more right to the park.
right.
It's interesting, I never thought about it originally as being an alley. I thought it was a street. You know, the first
I don't know what it is. Is there a name on it? I don't know.
Yeah.
So all the items that we approved tonight bring us to a total of $390,639.
That's pretty impressive.
It's pretty impressive. Yeah.
It is. And that includes the 220 playground and the 57.5 for shelter
Is that the,
and the 39.7 for the
everything.
basketball court.
is that including the 10%?
So with a 10% contingency, which I think we could probably reduce that because the playground at 220,
Yeah,
I don't feel like there's 20 grand at risk
right.
in the playground. So maybe, let me cut that down to,
5.
yeah. So that'd be about 20,000.
Does that,
So with a 20,000 contingency, we're at 410,639.
Awesome.
Okay?
Right on.
Good deal.
So if we need to come back and approve something, we've got 20,000 sitting there, and that'll put us at 410.
If we can get this all handled through the council meeting, okay, I'm anxious to get over to Goldman. I mean, it is going on, but I want to get this passed through council.
Yep, May 7th.
Then I think we have a better position, Dave and group, to go over and then really start looking at Goldman,
Yeah, they only get,
understanding what money is there. Because what they did, I think Saturday or Sunday over there really
Looks
helped
good.
quite a bit. I mean, go ahead.
For Goldman, I would urge the board to approve to use the funds to purchase the bleachers.
You would do what?
But not
Okay.
today's meeting, the next meeting.
No, it's a special meeting.
Okay. Okay, Charlie. Yep, yeah, please, thank you. Tell us.
Can we approve those tonight?
No.
Well, they weren't under the, it's a special
It's a special
meeting.
meeting.
Yeah,
Oh, so our agenda is,
Specifically, yeah.
we're limited on what we can
It
do?
wasn't on the agenda.
we can do it.
we
much as
got-
we
got
want
a lot
to.
done tonight, Dave. I mean, we got a lot done tonight.
Yeah.
So, and again, I would like to go over there and look, I just want to go back over there and look at Goldman, walk around it, see where they want I'd like to know where they want bleachers, kind of the whole layout. I'd forgotten about the old staircase that's over there. I mean, I miss it. I miss tripping down it as a child, but I would just soon get that out of there. So there's a bunch of stuff still over there.
Have either of you two felt with following more about the possibility of baseball going over to Leperson?
He has had us focus on Goldman.
To the agenda. Guys, we got to stick to the
Let's go back
agenda.
to the
It's a
agenda.
special meeting.
Yep, gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
So we can adjourn, and then if you want to talk about other,
no, we're good. And I know Steve. So
we're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, we will get in trouble if we talk about it anymore.
I'll take a motion for an adjournment.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Charlie.
Great work.
And I
Thank
know,
you.
I know you got a lot going on.
Thanks for all doing it all.
And Jerry, thank you. Big time. Thank you.
What's the possibility?
It's okay.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Oh, Julie, please take that the right way. I have no idea. Baseball is,
Did you stop the recording?
yeah.